How are you trying to reel in persons who never played XCOM before?
Yeah, there's a lot of big changes to XCOM 2 that we think will satisfy the fans that we had from Enemy Unknown. But in addition, we're doing a lot of things to hopefully cater to a new audience. When you look at things like the graphical differences from Enemy Unknown, it is outstanding. When you see the old enemies compared to the new aliens, our artists are amazing. And they're catering sort of to this graphical quality that is in lines with some of the best shooters, the best action games. And when you're down in the tactical maps, playing in the procedural maps, you really get this sense that you're a part of an action movie. So there's fans that maybe don't traditionally play turn-based tactics. We think there's something there for everyone because you still have those moments of action, those moments of feeling something visceral. You're just taking the time to make that thoughtful decision before it plays out on screen.
Okay. Will there be any kind of reference to the last part of it?
The last Enemy Unknown?
Yes.
Oh yeah. This is a continuity in the narrative and in the story. XCOM 2 takes place about 20 years after the events of Enemy Unknown. And in our lore for Enemy Unknown, we're taking the stance that XCOM scattered, XCOM lost. They actually did not save the world in Enemy Unknown. And what that does is it allows us to set this narrative stage for XCOM 2, where you now have to rebuild XCOM, you have to take the world back. So these consequences, the odds stacked against you are higher than ever. And you really have to overcome these consequences, which is perfect for XCOM and the mechanics for XCOM.
I don't have to know the story of part 1 and part 2.
Oh, the story? No, we're gonna give you a nice recap when you start the game. So if you didn't play the first one, well, if you didn't play the first one, shame on you, right? Tell your listeners. So play the first one. You can still do that. There's some time before we come out with XCOM 2. But if you happen to not play the first one, there's a really cool story that'll get you up to speed.
Which features are you the most proud of?
I'm most proud of the procedural elements overall. When you look at both sides of the coin, on tactical, we have procedural map system. So every single map that you play will be different. The layout is different. It's completely unpredictable. You don't know what objectives you're going to get on a map, so that's dynamic as well. But then on the other half of the game, you have the strategy side. And that is this entirely new beast from Enemy Unknown. You don't just have a go-to strategy where you're selecting your research, building your item, and then scanning for a mission. You now have a far more unpredictable game where the aliens have their own short-term strategies, their own long-term goals that you have to counter. You're now moving the Avenger around the world and you're proactively deciding where you want that to go. And you're not just taking missions, you're determining, do I want to make contact and spread the resistance here? Or do I want to get these resources from this pocket in the wilderness that is something else? In pure XCOM fashion, you can't do everything all at once. So it's just this very unpredictable game system that I'm very proud of the team putting together.
But why did you change that? Is it because the players told you to?
Well, no. We're definitely design driven, and there's goals that the designers have. We knew when Enemy Unknown was complete, we wanted to sort of let the system settle and do something that was still a deep, challenging system, but it could be learned. It could be learned by a lot of different people. And now it seemed like a logical step to say, what can we do to pull back on the reins a little bit from XCOM? We now know that strategy system in XCOM Enemy Unknown worked. What can we do to pull back the reins and provide a little bit more of an open-ended feel to our players now that they understand what XCOM is about? So it was a logical step. Of course, we hear feedback from the fans, and we always love listening. And some of that feedback was, I wish the strategy game was a little more open-ended, and that's always taken into account. But we are driven by what design wants to do with the games.
So where will the fights take place? Will it be Earth again or elsewhere?
Yeah, the missions take place on Earth, and the tile sets vary wildly. So we've shown off things like the wilderness environments, and you have different biome changes there. We've showed off our city center maps, which is sort of the heart of these new megacities that the aliens are creating for their takeover of Earth. And we have quite a few other tile sets that we haven't revealed yet.
What about multilinguality?
Yeah, we have different accents. You can also set the language of your soldiers to be English, French, Italian, Spanish, German. So you can change all of those in the character customization, which is way deeper overall from Enemy Unknown. There's so much more you can do to visualize your characters, and it's really exciting.
For example?
Yeah, so now that you're sort of a resistance and it's a little more ragtag, once you hit a certain veteran unlock, you can do things like give your soldiers tattoos, or give them scars on their faces, or give them these crazy unique hats or hairstyles. You can camouflage their armor and set patterns on their armor. You can change how the weapons look, the color of their weapons, the pattern on their weapons, and there's even gameplay changes that happen with the weapons depending on what attachments you put on them. All that stuff is brand new to XCOM 2.
So most of it will be achievement or DLC?
No, that's all shipped with the core game. Some of that is behind a veteran unlock. So you have to get your soldiers to sergeant level, and then you'll be able to access all of the customization. But that's just behind a gate because you want sort of your most hardened, grizzled soldiers to be able to have all the latest looks.
So there's no DLC or kind of it?
We're just talking about the core game at this time.
What about the max and the Psy soldiers? Will there be any changes or anything cool?
You know what? We really were happy with that sweet spot of a squad of 4 to 6. That's something that we thought worked really well in XCOM Enemy Unknown. When you measure the length of a mission, the distance that soldiers can move, the amount of moves per mission when you're engaged, it really was a sweet spot. We did a lot of internal play testing with that, and we didn't want to change that. So it still is 4. You can ramp up to 6 through facility add-ons and abilities that you can buy for your squad, and we're going to be sticking with that.
Will there be a customized skill tree or a random skill tree? Or?
Actually, there may be. So we have there is. We have really awesome skill trees for our classes. We've talked about 3 of the classes right now. We have a few others that we're going to deep dive on later, and they each have different branches that you can take. If you build a facility called the Advanced Warfare Center, you can then get random cross-class skills randomly assigned to your soldiers. So it's sort of like if you played Second Wave, XCOM Enemy Unknown, you could get ability roulette. You don't know exactly how your soldiers are going to be modified, but that'll happen if you have this facility. You can also respec soldiers as well. If you put them in the incubation chamber within that same facility, you can then change what skill sets they have.
What will be the main source of your operation? Will you tactically operate from the underground or?
No, you are operating out of the Avenger, which is that flying base. And you do have a Resistance HQ, which is on ground, and it's located on where you randomly start the game. But then when you're going on missions, when you're liberating regions, when you're searching and scavenging for resources, you actually fly around the world with the Avenger. Resistance HQ has some important things that you can return to. If you just want to generate intel, or if you want your soldiers to heal faster, you can set Resistance HQ to do those things. And you can also buy staff from Resistance HQ. We haven't even talked about staff, but there's a whole staffing game in XCOM 2 now where you actually have real things that every single one of your scientists and engineers can do in base, and you place them and visually see them, and you can purchase staff from Resistance HQ. So in general, you're going to be flying around, but you do have a little bit of an anchor in Resistance HQ on the Geoscape.
That's nice. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Thanks for coming by, guys.